clown virgins, clown virgins. We're getting together to make the world better. Clown virgins, clown virgins. We'll make you laugh and play, we'll take your blues away.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Anya napchuke ko hohet baya baka pit baya. Jacob Johns. Anya napchuke ko baka hapa ket baya. Yeah, just we're going to sorry for joining late. I'm excited to see all these faces and all these wonderful smiles from around the world, and it's good to see some familiar faces, Brother Wonka and Grandmother Tatiana, who actually tied this into my hair years ago while we were in ceremony together. So I come from the Hopi tradition, and in my tradition we have clowns, and these clowns are they basically do um, they basically do ceremony. They come out and they basically do everything that you're not supposed to do. So when you see the clowns out, they do all of the inappropriate things that you are not to do. They practice gluttony openly. If you're eating food and the clowns walk by and they see you eating food and you throw the food on the ground, they'll come and they'll fight for it because they're so greedy and they're so hungry. They'll fight and wrestle for the scraps on the ground, and they take off. But they do everything that you're not supposed to do. So, a lot of times when there's something that happens in the village, then that was dangerous to the community. The clowns will reproduce the act in a comical manner to teach the children and teach the people not to do these things because they do all of the inappropriate things. I know, for example, young children had taken their grandfather's truck and were joyriding it around on the reservation, and they crashed into some buildings. And so the child was injured, the property was damaged, whatever. But when ceremony came and it was time for the kachinas to come out, the clowns, they stole a car and they were driving it around in the village and crashing it into things to show everybody what you should not do. And so these types of reproductions of things are really comical, and they do things that you're not supposed to do. So a lot of times they'll come out of the kiva, which are ceremonial underground chambers that we do ceremony in. And as they come up, they speak in English, which is forbidden to do. And it's they'd say all of these things that are inappropriate and hold all these spaces. But within that joy and within that mockery and the comedy that takes place from the perspective of the viewers of the clowns, that this balance of joy is prevalent. That we know that when we find balance for serious ceremonial reasons, that we also find laughter and joy and just overall positive experiences birthed out of negative traumatic experiences that affected the community. And so, from different traditions within the pueblos, the Hopis are the farthest west of the pueblos. The majority of the pueblos are in northern New Mexico. In northern New Mexico, the pueblos, all of the clowns are similar. They are all strapped in black and white, and they have these two horns that come up. As you see the horns that come up on their black and white faces, that these people, although that they are silly and they do all these mockery things, that these people are actually holy. And one of the reasons that they have such a hard time functioning as a regular person doing all the wrong things is because the antennas, these two horns that come out, allow them to communicate with extraterrestrials that send energies to people through psychic communication. And a lot of these horns, these two things that come off, they put them on specifically so that they can communicate more with the people who live in the stars. And so when you take that into consideration about like how these people are communicating with other species on other planets, in order to really show common logic in this chaotic, fractured world that we live in, it creates this dichotomy that is unique, and it is specific, and it is creative, but it is also sacred, and it is also holy. I know for a fact there were some children that were playing with fire, and they were like burning stuff, little pyros, they were starting little fires, and one of them got burnt. And it was a severe burn. And so what the clowns did during the Kachina dance is that they came up and they had their horns, and then they had put sticks inside of the horns, and they lit it on fire with gas. And they were running around the village with their head on fire, telling everybody, look, I'm burning, look, I'm burning, look, I'm burning, look, I'm burning. It's just to teach people not to burn, not to start fires. And as these people were burning, running around, all this stuff, everybody's laughing, everybody's cheering, all this stuff. They were doing all of these things to show everybody what you're not supposed to do. And it also enchains people, right? Like when the Kachinas come out, Kachinas are our family, our relatives from the stars who brought us here to this planet. And our relatives, our sky relatives, they come out from the kivas, which are underground ceremonial chambers. The underground ceremonial chambers represents the lower level worlds, and the emergence into the new worlds are us coming to different planets and bringing this vibration that is needed for elevating the consciousness of one planetary system. And this idea of being able to elevate the consciousness of humanity through joy and through laughter and through showed teachings is huge. And it's more importantly, it's divine teachings that are given to us by the star beings who have seeded this planet. And as we follow the original instructions from our tradition, that we still bring the joy from the old worlds. We might have changed faces, we might have changed shapes, we might have changed bodies, but our spirits still remain the same. And our spirits are ultimately full of joy, full of laughter, full of peace. And this idea that we are separate from that is the pain of living in this world. And as we look at clowning and we look at people who bring joy and laughter, and more importantly, teachings through example, we understand the connectedness and the sacred balance between joy and laughter and the harsh, fractured noise of the world. And finding this communication of being able to understand that other people might have access to communications to star beings or access to just different realms of consciousness and have a hard time compressing all of that information into translatable language for the people. And the clowns come up and they do all the things, but there are also other clowns that come out. So for the Kachinas specifically, they come out and they are our sky beings, our relatives who come, and they're an amalgam of spiritual essences here on the planet so that we can physically represent the spiritual essences from a wide variety of things. But there are different types of Kachinas, and one of those Kachinas are the mudhead, the Koyamsim. And the Koyamsim originally started from a brother and sister who went out, and they went out hunting. And when they went out hunting a long time ago, they had to they had to make a little house because it got frozen and they were lost for a long time. And the brother and the sister, they made babies. And the babies were 13 Koyamsim, and they came out and they were disfigured and they had all these things that were wrong with them, and they had mental disabilities, and there were 13 of them. But they were so pure and so innocent, despite their disfigurement and all of the physical disfigurement and the mental capacity, that ultimately underneath that their spirits were pure and whole. And that this was permeating throughout it. And so these beings that came out of this copulation became like these sacred beings that were only able to communicate with emotions and feelings from the outside. And so the Koyamsim, the mudheads, they are disfigured. They have balls here, a ball here, one on the back, and there's different versions of them. But they're also clowns. And the clowns inside of the mudheads come out and they do the same thing. They do just like the others, with their black and white stripes, but they also come out and they do all of the things that you're not supposed to do. They act bad, right? They don't listen to the leader. They don't listen to the Mongwi, the Kikmongwi of the leader of the Kachinas. They just do whatever they want and they get whipped, and they do all of these different things. And it's a joyful experience, right? Like all these Kachinas, they do all of these different things. As the masked dancers come up, the Kachinas come up from the kivas. They come out and they practice for a month so that everybody is in sync and everybody's in unison. Everybody has one mind. And when they break up, after they get done dancing, the Kachinas will start handing stuff out. And the Hopis, traditionally we would run from our village to our fields and run back. This is the fastest way to transport things. And the Kachinas, they know that we are used to run, and so they'll do foot races. And when they do the foot races, it becomes like a fun experience, right? It's like an experience for everyone. And some of the Kachinas are violent, right? If you lose the race, they'll whip you, right? They have ones that have these yucca whips. They whip you. This is also how they initiate people, right? They whip you. And it's a blessing, but it's also you're getting whipped, right? So it hurts. So they'll be like, okay, let's race, and the cachinos will line up and they'll race. And if you lose, then you suffer the consequences of whatever the cachino is going to do. So they have ones that'll whip you. They have ones that'll cut your hair. They have ones that'll take dog feces and rub it in your mouth. They have chili powders and they'll put it in your eye. They have special piqui bread that has cholla cactus inside. So when you eat on it, it's a trick and it bites you and it stabs your mouth. And so all these different cochinos do all these different things. And there's one cochino specifically, Coco Pelmana, to bounce off of grandmother Tetiana's experience about, fertilization and fertility, that Coco Pelmana is a cross-dressing male that goes around and will race you. And if you lose to Coco Pelmana will hump you in public. Like they'll just get down and they'll start humping you right on the dirt in front of everyone. And afterwards, they'll give you a cookie. And they say if you eat that cookie, you'll be impotent for a full year. So don't eat the cookie. And this idea of being out in the open and within ceremony, seeing somebody getting humped in the dirt right in front of their grandma, then another person getting whipped and getting their hair cut off, somebody taking dog shit and putting it in their mouth, right? This is all happening within a sacred ceremony. This is all happening within after everybody has been fasting for 4 days to do ceremony for 2 days. This is all happening simultaneously. And so this idea of separating joy and clowning from the seriousness itself is counteractive from the traditional perspective. And that as we look into the future, look at the world and how fractured it is becoming, that we must embody the joy and must embody the happiness and let people understand that the laughter and the joy that we hear is universal, and that all human beings find laughter and find peace and find joy in the ceremony. And that clowning is sacred, and it is spiritual, and it is teaching. So you should all take this into consideration as you go out and you venture into the world being clowns and doing what you do. Understand that there is a special link between clowning and the sacredness of the world, and that you should embody that joy because you are sacred.
There ain't no place I'd rather be. You're lighter than the sun and the stars to me. Everybody's family at the Clown Virgin.